Welcome to This Week in Tiger Athletics. I'm your host, Haley White, and joining me today is FHSU SID Ryan Prickett, and he's going to help me break down this week in FHSU athletics. So to start off, FHSU baseball went 0-3 against UCO last week, and to look ahead, they have a 3-game series against Central Missouri this weekend.
Yeah, another, I guess, winless weekend for baseball. Obviously frustrating that it's been tough to get any kind of wins this year, but there was one really big positive from that series was Ethan Boo in the series opener. Went out there and threw 6 2/3 no-hit innings and did about everything he could to try and give us a chance to win a ball game, and unfortunately it got away from us late again because, 9-inning game, he couldn't go the full distance in that game, and we just need to give him some offensive support that day, and unfortunately we weren't able to help him out on that. So it was a great performance by him to go down there. That's a solid program. He almost held hitless for 7 innings. That's impressive stuff. So there's little things that we're seeing here and there that are just like, well, this is stuff we build on for the future and things that we're hoping to see in the future from some of our guys. So these are little building blocks that are happening right now, and things, the little positives we can take from each series right now. And yes, the win column unfortunately has kind of stayed where it's stayed throughout the year, but they're working on things and they're figuring out who's going to be able to compete for us in the future. And also with that Central Missouri series coming up this weekend, obviously another tough 3-game series. Central Missouri is a perennial power in baseball usually, so it's going to be tough to go over there and get some wins this weekend, but who knows? If we go over there and compete and do some of the things we did against UCO, like I said, eventually, you get these close games where something's going to break your way eventually, and then hopefully we'll break through with a win here before too long. So.
And softball, they started the week on a high note, taking 2 over Newman. They lost 2 to Central Missouri, but they split Southwest Baptist. They won in game 2.
Yes, exactly. It was a good start to the week, like you said. Newman we had a doubleheader here with them in Hayes, non-conference. It's actually going to be a conference game this next year when Newman comes in the MIAA. They're coming in with Rogers State out of Oklahoma. So we're going to see Lindenwood and Southwest Baptist are leaving the conference next year. So it was kind of a nice little preview doubleheader against Newman to kind of see, where we're at competition-wise against them. A couple of really tight games. Our pitching did really well in those games and got some timely hitting when we needed it to win those 2 games. But then on the weekend, that's really kind of what is mattering most right now is the conference play. And we basically had a repeat of the week before where we go 1-3 on the road. And the frustrating part of that is you felt like you could have won all 4 games. And it's just a matter of finishing when we have the leads and not making critical mistakes at the wrong times. And unfortunately, we've done that 2 weeks in a row now on the road. The Central Missouri doubleheader, we had a 3-1 lead in game 1 going into the final inning, and unfortunately couldn't even record an out in the bottom of the 7th, and gave up 3 runs and lost that game. Had a lead in game 2, gave it away. It's just one of those things where they really need to buckle down and win those games that are crucial in those moments. And then Southwest Baptist, a team that was really struggling, us going into that doubleheader, and our offense didn't show up in game 1. Pitching was doing okay, but it was just, once again, it was a untimely error with 2 outs in an inning, extended the inning. Wild pitch / pass ball situation happens, ties the game, and then by giving them that extra out, they get a bloop single and then take the lead, and then all of a sudden go on and win that game. And that's one we really, really needed. After losing both at Central Missouri, we needed to try and win both in that doubleheader, and we only got a split out of it. So now the situation that is created is what's big this weekend coming up. And so we've got a key doubleheader this weekend here in Hayes against Nebraska Kearney. Now we do have some other games that we're going to play before that this week, which we got Central Christian for a non-conference doubleheader, and then we're going to go do a return doubleheader with Newman. But that doubleheader against Kearney is basically the key to get into the MIAA tournament now. We were hoping that we were going to be right there with them. Kearney's at 12-12 in the MIAA. We're 11-13. So by losing that one game to SBU that you felt like we probably should have won, we could have went into this weekend tied for 7th, which, you know, all you'd have to do is basically split. And seeing the other teams, what they have for competition this weekend, I think you'd feel pretty good about your chances of getting in the MIAA tournament. But what that's created now is we're a game back of Kearney. So the way I look at it is we basically need to sweep on Saturday. And that will leap us over Kearney for sure if we do that. But the problem is we got Lindenwood and Pittsburgh State both at 500 in the conference. Now, Pittsburgh State's going to play Northeastern State and Central Oklahoma. Central Oklahoma is the #2 team in the nation. So they have only lost 2 conference games all year, one being to us and this last weekend to Washburn. Washburn got them. So everybody else they've swept. So you feel kind of good about, well, if Central Oklahoma takes care of business, you know, Pittsburgh State may finish at 500 as well. So, and Lindenwood, their schedule's maybe a little bit easier for them to get through the weekend without taking many blemishes, but you know, if we don't sweep against Kearney, we would have to bank on Lindenwood losing all 4 this weekend because we don't have the head-to-head on them if we tie them because we lost both games in a doubleheader to them. So they're going to have tiebreaker criteria on us. So really, we've kind of put ourselves in a little bit of a pickle here. And really, it's what the old Al Davis Raiders saying is just win, baby. You know, that's really what it boils down to this weekend. You have to win those 2 games and then hope that no other crazy things happen around the conference. But that's the situation we're in. It's got to win and you hope. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. So big game here in Hayes, 2 games, doubleheader. But if people want to come out and see Tiger softball for the last time this season at home, it's going to be a great, exciting doubleheader to do it because we need some fan support and we need some wins. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, hopefully the women get that sweep this weekend.
Exactly.
Both men and women of FHSU track and field claimed provisionals during the Brian Clay Invitational in California over the course of the 3 days.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for Tiger track and field. Like I had talked the week before, we go out there to more of a premier meet. Even though your individual finishes in the events might look, you know, well, he finished 12th or he finished 15th or whatever. You know, you're running against some Division I competition out there. Some of the elite Division II competition, they all make a pilgrimage out there to California to run in this event or, you know, do field events in that meet. And some great performances turned in by our team this weekend. Philip Landrum, one of our sprinters, he got a couple of provisional marks. He's actually up to 12th now on the 200-meter list. So the way I look at it is, like I always say, is try to get in the top 15 in the nation, and he's done that now. So now we'll see if he can hang on to that provisional mark being high enough for him to get in the NCAA championships. Brett Meyer was just a little bit shy of his top mark this season in the 1,500 meters, but his conversion time, it's weird. He ran that time that he did at Colorado, the Colorado Invitational. They actually convert your time down for the altitude. They actually make an adjustment to it. So that on paper this last weekend was actually Brett's best timed run of the season, but the time he ran in Colorado was a little bit, I guess, you know, not as good on like a stopwatch, but when they do the conversion down, it takes like 3 seconds off of his time. So, you know, he's sitting at like 4th in the nation right now. So he's in good shape to get in to the NCAA championships in that event. So there's some guys that went out there, they got their provisional marks. Some aren't probably quite high enough yet. So still got a couple of weeks to work with here. Especially with the MIAA championships coming up. So hopefully those marks continue to improve. Then obviously over on the women's side, you know, Alexia Deitcher, she put up another provisional in the javelin, and Yesenia Gonzalez went out there in a distance event event, won her heat. They actually run like 8 heats in the event that she was running in, so they don't have a finals. They just have a bunch of people run, and they try to get the best times that they can. And so she improved on her time and ran the best mark that she could this year in the event that she won her heat. So.
And they will have a final meet before the conference championships this week at Concordia for the Cloud County Invitational.
Yeah, another, I guess, midweek meet here for the team. Not too far away, so they can travel probably a good smattering of athletes up there to compete in Concordia this week. And then, it's just another meet to get prepared for the MIAA championships, which is going to be one of the big meets coming up here, where they're going to try to make some things happen and see how many all-conference performers we can get. Hopefully, get some more provisional marks on the board and get ready for the NCAA championships, which is about a month away now. So.
And to wrap up this week so far in athletics, women's golfer Hannah Perkins earns first team all MIAA honors just for the second time in her FHSU career.
Yeah, that's just a testament to Hannah and how good she's been over time. Obviously, one of the best golfers in our conference. She's made a couple of NCAA regional fields, actually made the NCAA championships a couple of years ago. She's trying to do the same again this year individually, so we'll see what happens here down the stretch. Obviously, she's got to put up a good head-to-head mark against other individual golfers in the region to try and get into the NCAA regional field. And then if you have a good weekend at the NCAA regional, then all of a sudden you find yourself at the championships a couple of weeks later. So we're hoping that she'll have a good shot at maybe getting back there again and get a shot at maybe playing in the NCAA championships as a senior to close out her career. So, and then they're at the MIAA championships this week. Same with the men. So we'll see, if the men do anything there as well to, I guess, improve their status individually. My guess is right now, the way it looks, I don't know if any of our individuals are going to be good enough to get into a regional. So it's most likely that the men's golf is wrapping up their season this week at the MIAA championships. So.
Well, thanks for joining me, Ryan.
Yeah, no problem.
That concludes this episode. Tune in next week for another episode of This Week in Tiger Athletics. And as always, to stay up to date on the latest news and information throughout the week, visit tigermedianet.com.